discretion is advised.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the New to Wrestling podcast After Dark. Today, I am really excited, mostly just because we have a fellow Sable stan in the house. I feel safe, I feel seen, I feel respected, I feel just comfortable in my skin. I just feel understood. He is developed such an incredible reputation even though he has not been wrestling for very, very long, but just an astronomical presence in the wrestling community. He is not the first gay man we've had on this podcast, if you are not new here, but he is the first gay wrestler we have had here, and I could not be more excited. Please welcome the Thicky Time Bomb, Brian Baum.
Love it. I need you to
Thanks.
do all my intros because
Oh my
that was amazing. That was fierce.
Oh, yay.
Yes.
Thank you. Brian Baum. I am the Brian Baum, real Brian Baum. I am so happy to have you here. We are both so happy to have you here this evening.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming.
Excited. Yeah, I'm super excited to be here. I'm excited to talk about Sable, which is why I'm called Brian Baum. So I'll give you that.
Yes.
I'll play you that.
I told Xavier, I was like, because I was like really deep diving into the interwebs about you today, my favorite task. And I was like, I don't want to give too much away, but I will say that Brian Baum got into wrestling mostly because of Sable. But like there's a lot of influence from your theme song, the whip, the name. Can we like dive into this a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, God, Sable is the reason I became a wrestling fan. I'll try to give a brief story, but long story short, my brother, who's straight, he's like 5 years younger than me. He loved wrestling. I thought it was the stupidest thing. And I was just like, Brandon, nobody like, whatever, I don't care. And we were buying him these wrestling toys in Toys R Us. I don't know if Toys R Us is even still around. But I told my mom I saw this gorgeous woman, kind of look like Pamela Anderson. And all gay kids, all gay boys love the girls.
Mhm.
Chun-Li, the like Ariel from The Little Mermaid. When it was the Ninja Turtles, I only cared about April. I didn't really care about the turtles. So when I
Perfect.
saw Sable, it was like that. And I told my mom, I was like, buy this for Brandon. And I remember it was actually shocking to me. She was like, no one plays with the girls. And I was like, okay, well, buy it for me. I don't know why I would say that. Long story
Mhm.
short, I told my brother, I said, when she comes on TV, let me know when she's on. I was just curious. And like maybe what felt like 2 weeks later, I'm sitting in the living room and all I hear is, Brian, Sable's on TV. And like my little gay ass runs to the room because it was in my parents' room. I'm like, da 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 da. And all I see when I look at the screen, it was when Tori was facing Luna and Sable. So whenever you get to that episode, Sable came out and
Mm.
basically turned on Tori. And Sable came out in this cat suit, her boobs up to her neck. It was very like
Period.
Pamela Anderson, like barbed wire. Um,
Yes.
and I was love at first sight. I was like, I need to watch wrestling because this is like Street Fighter or Tekken, like just brought to life in terms of the female characters. And I could share
Yes.
more, but I'll pause there. That is the reason I became a wrestling fan.
Oh,
I
I
love
love.
that because same. Like
Yeah,
I was
no,
literally like I'm here for
that.
like the pageantry, the costumes, the titties. Like I no one loves titties more than women and gay men. Like
Yes.
I just like I've never in my life met people who loved breasts more. But I just like the first especially Sable, like the first time you see her, she just has that magnetism, like that star quality where it's like you just can't help but notice her and she just sucks you right in, and thank God. And like we are just at a glorious part where she in our show where she's like just about to leave from Mark Miro. So I'm like,
Oh,
she's about to go on her solo tour. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Dump that man, girl. I'm so over his shit. I hate him so bad. Summoning me into the ring like a dog to talk to me crazy. Not on my
I love it.
watch.
I love it. I'm so
And
excited
so
for your Sable journey.
thank you. Oh my God, thank you so much. Yeah, I'll have to keep you abreast of
Please,
what
please
happens.
do.
Um, and so the whip is kind of inspired by Sable too.
Yeah,
Love.
very much inspired. So my whole being, so Sable, I don't think you're at her wrestling era yet. This is when she was just
No,
transitioning.
I
And she
can't
was
wait.
never really a wrestler. They just kind of trained her for matches, but her finisher, spoiler alert, sorry, was the power bomb. And
hmm
she called it the Sable bomb. Because back then in the Attitude Era, you just took a move and put your name in front of it.
Period. Very
So
true.
Brian Bomb is because of Sable Bomb.
Oh my God.
'Cause I'm really not about bombs or anything like that, actually. But
Hmm.
so Sable Bomb, and my friend named it. I was like, I need a name. I'm just going by Brian. He was like, what about Brian Bomb? And so there's a few different nods. So if you look at my logo, Sable Bomb, when you look at her logo, is kind of like oval like this. So it's
Hmm.
very much a nod. And plus keep
Wow.
herring. The whip, because she put a whip once in, obviously it's not her song, but she had it once in a promo pic and was like, I need it. And then I mean, my little gay self at like 10, I would come out to her theme in the bathroom and, put a towel over my head.
Period.
And so that was
Yes.
the fantasy, right? Like, and I didn't
Yes.
want to be like a Sable drag, so I wasn't going to use her actual song, but I was like, I got to come out to that iconic, oh,
Yeah.
uh,
Yes.
and it
So
feeds
good.
me all the time. I mean, it's like, I've changed my song a little bit, but I always keep that part because I feel like I'll never depart from it.
I love that. And
And
the
we love
influ
a prop. Like we talk about
oh,
loving a prop all of the
love
time.
a prop bad in a bad, bad way. A
Sometimes
prop
it
hates
helps
to
you
see
win
me
your
coming.
matches too. So
It's so true. It's so true. Can we, since we're talking about matches, can we talk like a little bit about your style, how you like got into wrestling and how you found kind of your way into the way that you wrestle, if that makes sense? Because I know that you trained at the Fallout shelter, I believe.
yep,
So you're really like a Battle Club Pro girly. Like
yep, yep.
that's the home org. Um and I would love to know like how, because I know you started, I think it was COVID, and I'm not trying to like tell your whole story for you, but
No,
like
no, I'm impressed. I'm like, okay, she knows her stuff.
I try.
Yeah, so I started training, I think, and my anniversary is in like next week or maybe it's like today.
Hey,
It's
Oh my God,
3 year.
happy
Thank you.
anniversary.
So it's my third year, like caps. I'm going into my fourth year.
I love that.
Um, my style, it's interesting. I'm sure, folks could, maybe other gay men could relate to this. But like there's this authentic part of yourself, and then there's just kind of like I want to break the stereotypes. So authentically, I always watched the women, right? Like I didn't really care about men's wrestling. Like I loved Melina, I loved Sable, Lita. And so a lot of my
Mm,
natural like my influence coming in was all the women. So I wanted to do like the hair tosses. I wanted to do all the like diva moves, and I do them, and they're fun.
yeah.
But I also am naturally a very like strong, stocky person.
Hmm.
Um, and so I always say my style is like flamboyance meets like brute strength. Because a lot of times being a
Mm,
gay man in like a male-dominated sports, most people I've encountered luckily have always wanted to be good people. Sometimes they get it wrong. Sometimes they say things that are like, but it never felt like there was an intention to be harmful, right?
Right.
And
right.
so sometimes what that would look like in matches, they'd be like, "Oh, you should kiss me in this spot, or you should like do this sexy, gyration." And I was
Mm,
like, "No, like I'm wrestling because I actually like want to be a respectable, like good wrestler."
Hmm.
And so
right.
for me, I do the diva spots when they feel appropriate for me, when I feel like maybe I'm a heel and I'm just kind of like digging into somebody. But I'm also like a solid wrestler and I take it seriously and I can, do transitions and I can reverse moves and I'm very I can power bomb people, I can pick them up over my head. I can do all of that. And it's always surprising to people. It's surprising to me that it's surprising to people that they'll always be
Yeah.
like, he's stronger than he looks. And I'm like, I don't think I look weak. Is it because I'm a gay man that there's like kind of this assumption people have about you
Hmm.
going in that like
Mm,
somehow he's gonna come in with this certain style. And for me, it's like I don't want to hide being gay. I'm very proud about it. It's who I am. And I
yeah.
like that's not only who I am. And
Right.
I want how I wrestle and how I present myself to be that full package of just me as a person.
Yeah, for sure. And I think like it's interesting, and this is like the such an obvious statement, but it's like it's so interesting that and it's unilateral across like all aspects of life, but in wrestling as well, where it's like I don't understand like what a gay wrestler is versus a straight wrestler in terms of style. It's like why do people expect like gay wrestling to be a certain thing and straight wrestling? Like, do you know what I mean? I just think
Yep,
it's such a weird
absolutely.
thing. So yeah, like I think, and I have a quote I think that you had said about, yeah, there's what it means to be a gay man and what the world portrays as a gay man.
That's
And how that kind of influenced your style too, because you're like, I'm like you said, like very proud, open, out gay wrestler, but like that doesn't mean I'm like doing what people expect or portray like a gay wrestler to do.
Absolutely. And I mean, I think a lot of that is just like we take our cues from mainstream culture. So WWE, for example, is
Yeah.
like the sort of what you look at to what wrestling is. And even still, but historically, the way gay people were represented was very much as a stereotype. You know,
Yeah,
Billy and Chuck, Goldust. And so I think they curated and popular media curated, like, in order to be gay in wrestling, you have to be this comedic act, or you
right,
have to present in this. And a lot of those
Mm,
people weren't even actually gay,
right.
right? And I think for there's so many openly gay, lesbian, trans, etc. wrestlers now, and I think the common theme with all of us is just like that we're not a this is not a gimmick, right? We want to be good
yes.
wrestlers and we just want to be authentic to ourselves in the same way that like Stone Cold could be or Eddie Guerrero, right? It's like, yeah, we can kiki, vogue, be shady,
Hmm.
intimate with men in my personal life. But like when I'm in the ring, yeah, there's all those experiences and I'm gonna beat your ass.
Yeah.
It's and I want to win. So for me, we just want to be authentic and we just want to be who we are. And I think it's still a long way to go in the wrestling business um to really see that happen. And I think for a lot of openly gay wrestlers, trans wrestlers, etc., anytime I encounter them or train with them or see them on shows, I'm just like proud of them because I
Hmm.
I know from personal experience, it's just not easy. It's not easy.
No.
It's very fulfilling, but it's not easy.
Heard.
Yeah.
I wanted to say because that like dovetails kind of nicely into um creating spaces for those wrestlers and kind of your involvement in like Fight for the Pride and what it means to you to be able to kind of create that platform. And is the ultimate goal like with those kinds of shows to kind of um, create that showcase for like the community to kind of so that those larger kind of organizations see a like greater array of what the community has to offer wrestling. Because I always say like in terms of like there's so much crossover in terms of uh like just like drag and the stuff that queer people find in entertainment
Mhm, mhm,
and pro wrestling that it feels like it would be a much more natural crossover than it is kind of
Yes.
presented. So can you just talk about like what it means to build those spaces and yeah, how you want to like elevate the wrestlers around you?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been sort of someone who brings people together. And a lot of that was influenced by like my childhood. Like I went to Catholic school. I was very like heavily bullied because I wasn't even out at the time. I pray to God every morning that I'd wake up straight. But people knew, right? People knew and they would target me for it. Or on like baseball teams, I just didn't care. I wasn't very good. I would eat the grass in the outfield. It
Right.
just wasn't like my passion. And I
Hmm.
say that because childhood really shapes you. And there's so many memories I have of just being felt like I was discarded or unseen or not worthy. And
Hmm.
I don't remember the exact words, but I remember as a kid just kind of telling myself that like when I'm big, when I'm an adult, I'm gonna be a good person. Like I'm gonna create like I just wanted to like it was almost like taking care of my inner child, going into psychology here by
Mhm.
doing
Yeah.
that for other people. So I'm very naturally as an adult kind of a caregiver in my family and my friends and want to do that. And that comes across in wrestling. And for me, it's like wrestling is like such a great thing and being gay and RuPaul's Drag Race, the gay clubs and drag culture, all of that is amazing. And I just wanted to do a show that was just for us, for the community, right? It wasn't for
Yes.
anyone else. They're welcome, they're invited, but it wasn't for them. It was for us. And for me, that's like you kind of challenge yourself to not do a show by the books and like what would a show that's for the community look like? We had wig pulls, we had an evening gown match, we
Mm.
had two guys, kissing. And I'm like really against like gay kissing spots when it's a straight person, right? Like for me, I'm just like it feels not authentic and it feels like villainous. Here
Yes.
it was like me with another gay man and it felt like appropriate
Right.
and people miss that nuance, but for me, it was like, how do we have all of that in one show in a way that makes sense for us, that's for us? And I thought we did it. And one of the most important matches for me on that show was between two openly trans wrestlers, Nikki Winters and Brianna Bands. Um, and I say I fought for that match, but like the person I worked with was just as down as I, so it wasn't a hard fight. But
Hmm.
going in, I was very much like, if there's not one match that must happen, it's that one. And that was very much a direct response to just the world we're living in and all the anti-trans like policies and rhetoric and to just how society is really punching down on them. And I was like, I don't want, there were other trans people on the show, but I was like, I need a match that's two trans people against each other because I don't want them to uplift someone else. I don't want someone else uplifting them. I wanted them to uplift each other. And it was
Mm.
just the moment was so beautiful. They had a fantastic match, right? So it was also showing like two trans women, they don't need other people to have a great match.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
within themselves. Yeah, it was just, I mean, and that's what it is for me, right? Like creating, empowering the talent, creating an authentic space for people, and really just having a night for us when we're in a when we're in an environment, a business of wrestling that's not usually for us.
Yeah, completely. And I think it's really interesting to your point of like, we don't need necessarily straight like influence to succeed. Like, we can succeed and have like an incredible show and like an act like wrestling, like we're
Mhm.
just wrestling, like without, the influence of like the straight people on the card. And I'm so curious to like deviate for like one quick second about
Absolutely, let's do it.
because I'm not exactly sure what your day job is and you don't have to tell us, but I feel like it's like a public relations sort of something because I feel like it definitely influences like how you are able to orchestrate things like backstage. Like even just aside from orchestrating a show, which is crazy. Like I can't imagine how intense that is. But even just like your backstage presence, because I feel like a common thread of people who know you and speak about you, it's always like you're just like such a positive person. And like you were kind of saying before, like when I become an adult, like I'm just gonna be like I'm gonna create an environment and just be a good person. Like do you think there's like it just feels like what I'm trying to kind of say is like I just feel like your personality has like eked out into not just wrestling, but like there's influence from your day job. Like I just kind of
Absolutely,
feel like they
absolutely.
all mesh together.
Yeah, yeah. I won't tell you where I work, but I'll tell you generally what I do. So I
Okay.
work in public policy, and so all
Yes.
throughout my career, I've worked on passing policies that not just for LGBTQ folks, but like, more healthcare, overdose prevention, more
Mm,
funding for local schools, things like that. So I'm very used to like message testing and communications and speaking to sort of trying to speak to bipartisan folks, but understanding like what liberal values are versus conservative values. And my job and I currently run a whole communications department. My job is always to try to find like what is the thing that moves people? What is the thing that
mm,
brings us together? What are the values that unite us? And so, and because I work in communications, I know graphic design and video editing and all that stuff. All
yeah.
those skills definitely you picked up on what the truth is, which is like, yes, my personal job and just interests outside of wrestling, it really for me personally is just like a hodgepodge of all the things I like. And so putting on a show really speaks to that, just kind of like the movement building of wrestlers and people, the sort of
Yeah.
branding and marketing of a show to just like the creative energy of like what is the show from start to finish. Um, all of that's very influenced just by like the full me as a person in and out of the ring.
Yeah. And also, this is like a random question. Are you the oldest sibling?
No, I'm the middle
Yeah,
child.
you're the middle child.
So I need
Okay.
attention.
I was like, I'm
I'm the
so
oldest. She's a baby.
I'm
So
the baby. Is which is so obvious when I tell people I'm the baby, they're like, yeah,
Yeah, I can see that. I
that
can see that.
tracks. But I was curious because you just have that energy. But it's funny, my one older sister who is the middle child, she can have that energy of like very caretaking, very whatever. So that was just kind of like a personal, like I'm building your story in my head.
No, I'm a middle child, but
Yeah.
I have a younger brother who like is basically like my son. He's only 5 years younger than me, but without go, every family has their struggles and stuff, and I have amazing parents who did their best. But during my teenage years, there were struggles that they went through, and I sort of went into parent mode for my brother to make sure he was taken care of. And my older sisters are amazing, but for me, they were out of the house at that point, and so I very much played that role for my brother. So maybe that comes across, but I'm the middle child, which also comes across because I'm like, attention, please.
Yeah, I so get that. Well, Xavier is similar with his brother,
Yeah,
which I
I
don't.
also have a 5 year like age gap.
Oh, awesome.
I'm the oldest, so there's one like in between. There's my sister in between, and it was very similar. I had parents, but they had to work. They were out. They were busy.
Yep.
So it's a very similar kind of like story. Just yeah, I was just hearing you say. I was like, oh wow,
Yep.
Yeah,
they come for us all.
yeah,
Yep.
they
Yep.
do.
But I love it though because it's just like now that we're both like older and kind of out of that phase of our relationship, I think we appreciate each other so much more for that time.
Absolutely.
Definitely,
Absolutely.
like in the moment, you're like, how did this happen? How did I get here? And
When
also,
did I
I am a
become the
child.
parent, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
But
yes.
yeah, and my like little brother actually like just got married like last week
Oh,
to
congratulations.
his partner. So like
Very
yeah, it
exciting.
was very cute.
Oh, that's so congratulations, Avery.
Oh
That's
yeah.
that's beautiful.
Yeah, we
Another
love.
person who went blonde that I really was like, please keep the blonde.
Oh,
Like,
my
Ah,
brother. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. Well, so it's
yeah.
great because I do like I'm just friends with Xavier lifelong, and then his younger brother now works with me. So
oh,
I
that's
get
so
both of them
cool.
all the time, thank God. Um,
You're like a sister at this point.
No, yeah, she's just inducted
I
into
could
the
never.
family.
Oh my God, thank
Um,
you. But
That
like
comes with
Brittany's
his
the
own
real
baggage, so
tea.
don't get too excited.
Oh yeah, no. Listen, I know all about it. Well, maybe not all about it, but I know some. I know enough. But
LOL.
back to you, sorry.
no, no, this is a conversation. It doesn't have to all be about me. I'm happy
Oh,
to
thank God.
to
Yeah.
talk
And I
about
was
all of it.
like, we were talking earlier today, and I was like, I'm so excited for today because I just feel like it is going to be a conversation because like I was like, it's giving yapper energy, but like in the way where it's like we're in a community space. And this is great too, because this kind of brings me back to I feel like you in so many areas of your life have just like such a strong sense of community. And obviously there's like the gay community, the Puerto Rican community, or like even just the Latino community. Um, but like even it just feels like you really thrive in like community oriented environments, which wrestling is such a huge community based environment. I feel like I've learned on my new to wrestling journey, like especially visiting the independents and seeing shows and talking to independent wrestlers, it's like the sense of community is something I've never like really tapped into before until entering those spaces. Do you feel similarly?
So if I feel similarly, like the sense of community, like I'm tapping into it in wrestling, or just like there's a general sense of community.
Either way.
Right. Well, I'll answer it how I perceive it. I
Sure.
would say, I mean, I think, yeah, wrestling's definitely a community. I think how I've defined it for myself, because I'm using my PR skills. I'm trying to use my words wisely, but I'll just be honest and blunt, right?
Yeah,
Wrestling community is easier for some people than it is for others, right? I think if
totally.
you are a straight man, you're like maybe light skin or have a chiseled body or whatnot, finding your community in that space, especially if you're hyper masculine, may be easier than someone like me, right?
Of
But
course.
for me, when I knew that I was watching wrestling as a kid and I'm a gay man and all of these things, I know there's so many other people like me who watch wrestling. And to me, that's my community. And that's why I do what I do, because I want to be the representation, even if it's for three people in the crowd, right? Because to me, like, and I've had this happen where it's been reinforced, like that's a positive thing. Like once I remember, when I started training, I was always like, I don't want to be the gay wrestler, blah, blah, blah. And I think I internalized that to like try to be more masculine and like hide a little bit of myself. And when
Mm,
I had one of my first shows at Battle Club, I was like, fuck it. Like, I'm gonna come out with the gay flag because I feel this was like during this was like 2 years ago or 3 years ago when there was a lot of like there was the rise of anti-trans
Hmm.
legislation, and it just felt like important to me to just be visible. Um,
Yeah.
and battle club's a great place, but it can be very masculine sometimes in the crowd and like who it attracts. And so I was nervous, but I was like, I wanted, even if I didn't know they were there, I felt like somebody had to be there that was going to see all these wrestlers and just looking for someone they can relate to. So I came
Hmm.
out with the flag, did my thing, and I was nervous as hell because I was like, what if they boo or like, but they cheered. I got a positive reaction, which I was happy for because I wanted to be a good guy. I'm a bad guy currently, but so
Hmm.
many times when like you're gay or openly gay, you're kind of put in the villainous category. And I was forcing myself to be like the face or try to be liked. Long story short, I did, it was the worst reveal and I tried, I'll send you tape. But you know how like RuPaul, there's like wig reveals
Oh
and
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
stuff.
Hmm.
So I had this, sometimes the thing in your head doesn't really look how it actually shows. So I put on this little, like, I want to say cap, but it was like this little patch of hair. And under it was going to be my blonde hair because that was my wig reveal. It
Yeah.
just looked like I took off a hat. It was so bad. But what did look good was I had the flag rolled up under my puffer jacket that I wear to the
Hmm.
ring. And so when I
Mm.
took it off, it like flew down as a cape, which was
Wow.
intentional. And so
Okay.
I turned
Fierce.
around and that's when the flag was there. That's when they cheered. And I was like, oh wow, I'm happy that went over well because I was nervous. The
Yeah.
point I'm making is I had the match. It was good. It was fun. After some guy comes up to me, he was like, "Are you Brian Baum?" And I was like, "Oh God, what is he gonna say?" And I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Oh, my daughter is trans. She was in the crowd. She was so
Oh.
excited to see you.
Hmm.
She was so excited to see someone like you, blah, blah, blah." And to come back to your question about community, that to me is my community and why I try to be authentic even when it's hard.
Yeah. Oh my God. And I think it's so true because I feel like we, in a similar way, though we don't, go out and like perform the way that you do and like put your body like through so many things. But I feel like when we talked about this show, even that kind of came up, we were like, because we on the show sometimes they're just like, we're objectifying men. We're just like yapping. We're saying
Oh,
like,
let's
Hmm.
do
Oh.
she's giving, like, we're just like really like
We are who
silly
we
with
are.
it,
Yeah.
and we are who we are. And I was like, and I just feel like even like our people will find us, they
Yep.
always have. So it's like we're not necessarily giving you like the stats on whatever, but like there are people like us who are wrestling fans like us because we are like us. Like
Yep.
Right.
there's,
Yep.
you know what I mean, like if we're here there are other people here. So I think that's like so special and so important, and it's like nothing else in the world to me anyway. But
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree.
and speaking of your body, if I may, but I just like,
Amazing.
yeah, this is the
Is
striptease
this the
section.
reveal? This is why I have the
Yes.
handprints on.
So
Yes.
and now it's going to take a dark turn because I want to ask you about your neck injury,
Oh, right. The scars.
unfortunately.
I don't know if you can see it. The scars right here.
Oh
Oh
wow.
my God. So I wanted to ask about this because this is something as a new to wrestling person I talk about all the time where I'm like, I just don't know. And I was like you, like we have similar origin stories where I was like, wrestling is so weird. Like when I was younger, I was like, this is the weirdest shit I've ever seen. I don't get it. Like
Yep, yep,
I, and now we're here. But
yep.
I was like, I I'm constantly like flabbergasted and amazed by like what wrestlers put their bodies through, and like that you just rarely come through unscathed. Like, and
Absolutely.
you had talked in an interview about your neck injury and how it changed the way you wrestle because there is like an element of fear in terms of like your physical body now. Like
Yep, yep.
how are you feeling? We're so happy you're recovered and back.
Thank you.
And then like how has that like influenced the way you wrestle now?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so I'm feeling good. I'm surprised how decent I feel. There's always like a trepidation to say that out loud because I'm like, what if it
Like
turns
jinxing it.
corner? Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
putting that to the side and just leaning into the truth, I feel good, which I'm
Oh,
happy about.
good.
And I'm just happy to be back and wrestle. In terms of how it's changed me, I mean, it's just I find myself, I mean, I've been training for a little bit, so I'm getting more comfortable, but I find myself like being more nervous to take like certain moves. There's some things
Mm.
that because the doctor said like don't do this. Like for example, I have to avoid compressing my neck like this. Like
Mm.
whiplash or things like that are fine, or so he says. But like any kind of compression, so what we call like spike bumps, so if someone's like takes a DDT, I can't usually I used to try to spike it, which means like your legs go in the air, you kind of
Right.
make it look like you were kind of like, I guess a spike.
Impaled. Yeah.
Yeah. I have to kind of fall on my face now, or like things like pile drivers, etc. Even though
Mm.
people try to keep you safe, I completely will not take those kind of moves. And then there's also like I have to be smarter about moves that don't so like a DDT or power driver is clearly obviously like could happen, but then there's
Mm.
more dangerous moves like if I flipped off the top rope that if I landed, God forbid, on my head. So I try to take less risk and I try to wrestle a little bit smarter. I still try to wrestle well and hit hard and I can take bumps and all of that stuff. But I'm a lot more I'm less like balls to the wall. When I first started, I was like, yeah, let's do it. Bam, just like throwing myself. And I still think I'm a good wrestler and will challenge myself. But I listen to myself more. Something feels like seems too risky because the beautiful thing about wrestling is not everyone has to do the same thing, right?
Right.
And
Mm.
so I don't have to wrestle like Jeff Hardy or Rey Mysterio. I can wrestle the way that makes most sense for me, and try to keep myself as safe as possible. So I commend anyone who comes back from an injury because it's like trauma, right? Even though it's like a physical trauma, but like mental trauma, like it changes you, right? You look at the
Yeah.
world differently, etc. An injury is similar in that like now you have new fears. Now you remember what it was like to be out and perhaps not be able to wrestle again. And so there's more of a cautiousness that I approach the ring with that before I was just like, yeah, I'll train 5 days a week, whatever. And now I'm like, you know what? I'll do 2 days a week and try to give my body more rest or not overcommit to things.
Yeah.
Do you think experiencing such a like large injury so like early in your career, at least it's like, do you is there like a relief? It's like, well, the worst thing that could happen has happened right now. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
like, is there kind of a sense of like one? I'm sure there's a newfound appreciation on the other side of the injury of like being able to do this again. But do you feel like do you think it's just like a for now feel like kind of trepidation as you kind of get back into it, or do you think like this has kind of altered the way you wrestle for the remainder of your wrestling career?
Yeah, I think it's both. I think it's when I start wrestling more, I get more comfortable. So the like when I first started, for example, what we call a back bump is basically landing flat on your back. I found
Mm.
myself kind of adjusting unintentionally sometimes to like kind of do that. And I never did that before. Now, as I've wrestled more, I'm not doing that as much, but I'll catch myself one or twice. So there's definitely an element of like the more comfortable you get, the more recent experience you have being okay, the more you kind of loosen up. Uh, and I know there's certain things I can and probably shouldn't do. And so in those ways, I'm forever changed, right? Like
Mm.
I, I'm not willing, like my health and just being healthy comes first because not only when I had a neck injury did getting the surgery and kind of having to be out and being unsure if I would even come back suck mentally, right?
Yeah.
Even though you move through those things and you kind of find your new normal, but the pain before, like living with that chronic pain and uncomfortableness, that sucked
Right.
probably
Yeah.
more than the surgery because at least the surgery felt like there was
A reason.
yeah, there was like relief,
Right.
like
Yeah.
but before, so in those ways it changes you because you're just like it's not really and when I'm not sure if you ever wrestled, but you watch a lot of wrestling when people watch wrestlers, and at least from my experience as a wrestler, what people react to and what they remember is the story,
Mhm.
right?
Mm.
And so there's
Yes.
this move I do where I do a cartwheel into a slap, right? It's the simplest thing. It's like not hard for me, it's not hard to do.
Hmm.
And it always gets a big reaction. And then I'll do some of these more complicated things I practice for like a few days, and it's more of a reversal. and it's like literal crickets, right? And I'm like,
Hmm.
fuck, I just like,
Anyone?
where's the standing ovation? And
I'm
then,
not
Right.
kidding.
you
Like, do I need
know,
to bring a sign that says applause?
like, I mean, listen, come to my matches and do it. I'll do it. But a lot of wrestlers will tell you the same thing, right? So
Yeah.
for me, it's like I try to wrestle in that way now where I'm just like, what's the story I'm trying to tell and how do I capture people in it? The moves and how I tell that story through the moves facilitate the story. The moves alone and like not doing a
Mm.
DDT or doing a DDT, like it doesn't actually matter as long as you told a story that captivates people.
Yeah,
Sure.
wow.
I
That's such a
love
good
that.
point.
Uh,
I think you had meant, oh, sorry, did I
no, no,
interrupt
go
you?
ahead.
I was gonna say, because I think this is just a sidebar. I think that you had mentioned this, like it was like a ladder match, and I forget which female wrestler it was, but she does like a something, some sort of like scissor kick or something. You're like, she's doing crazy things like falling off a ladder and doing whatever, but then her signature move is the thing. It's so simple, and it like that's the thing that takes people. And I forget like which wrestler it was, but I was like, just par for the
Oh,
course.
yes, yes. It's the way you know your stuff. I was talking about Stephanie Vaquer.
Yes.
Mm,
Thank
Yes,
you.
because
Yes.
and it's the truth, right? Because what you're
Yeah.
talking about is the last TLC match. All these and listen, great for them. I'm not saying don't do those things. It
Oh,
adds to
yeah,
the
yeah.
story.
Oh my God.
But
Yeah.
if I think back to what I remember that match, it's when she did her devil's kiss, which is when she puts
right.
her leg over
Yes.
them, and she
Yes.
like, and that's the most basic thing,
Right.
right? But it's the thing we remember, and
Hmm.
it's the thing that got the most over in that match.
Right.
And so that's just proof of like you don't have to you don't have to do the crazy things, at least not all the time. I'm all for like a big bump, but for me and like what a lot of our trainers say is like make it make sense, build to it, make
Right.
them
Mm.
anticipate it, right? You don't need
Hmm.
50 of them in a match.
Right.
Because I've had a hardcore match once and we had a really big bump. But for me, it was like that's the big bump in the match that
Right.
we're building towards
Yes.
versus a lot of times you'll see wrestlers and no shade to them. If this is their style and it works for them and people like it,
Right.
there's a place for different styles. But for me personally, I don't that's not something I must do to get over. You know, Stephanie and other examples like that are just examples of like if you work smart and you tell a story and you work towards the thing that you want people to care about, can get over just as much as something that's complicated and you spend days, working on.
Yeah.
So that's great that you said that because that segues nicely into kind of the stuff, the storytelling stuff you do via like social media with like Sammy Chaos
Yes.
and like that
Ooh.
whole that whole like
Oh my
saga and
God.
like how just I love it. I'm so entertained
Same.
by it every time I see the two of you like interact. So can you just kind of go into like the origins of that story, how you tell that story, and where we're at now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm a blend a little kayfabe and reality, and I'll let
Love
you
it.
figure out what's true and what's not. All of it's true, but I'll let you figure out like what's personal and what's the storyline. But when I first started wrestling, when you go in, like especially just myself, like I was like, oh God, I came from Catholic school. Straight people scare me, especially straight men. I'm like, what if they like don't want me here? And when I first went in, it's like the mat sounds so incredibly loud. It's like boom, boom. And I'm just like, oh no, like what am I getting myself into? And Sammy was one of the first people I saw, and she was an immediate, a lot of women are like this, especially for gay men. She was an immediate safety for me, an immediate, like,
Mm.
okay, I can stand, like kind of like a lost puppy.
Yeah.
And she was so kind to me. She was so sweet. And then over the years, we had one match and the chemistry between us was just like it was there, like she was willing to go where I would wanted to go and vice versa, and we wanted to make each other look good. And then her star really rose. I mean, she's on the top of her game. I can't take that
Yes.
away from her, and she's just doing incredible things. And I think for me, seeing that, I was a little jealous. I was like, okay, I want what she has, right? And
Yep.
let me get a slice of that. And so that's what I did. I was like, you have a belt that I want, and so I'm gonna get it. And for me, I
And
saw my characters like kind of like Carney and playing mind games and being like sassy and kind of vindictive. And so I went after what I want. Of course, she fought back and she's a smart girl, but like similar to like she will meet me where I'm at and want to kind of like go there. that was kind of our feud. I was like, okay, I'll take it here. She took it here. I took it there. And for us, when we do our promos and things like that, it's authentic to who we are as people. And when
Yes.
we're both, I know that we're both thinking about like, I don't want to do what other people are doing, right?
Right.
People are going to scream into the character and do the wrestler promo. It's like, what would we do and what would be interesting to people, right?
Hmm.
And it's a
Yeah.
little bit tongue in cheek, but it's also just a little bit like, if you see your enemy on the street, there was a promo I did where I just saw
This
him
is my favorite one, by
see
the
why I
way.
start beating her ass.
Yeah.
It's
Because you're
so
just like
good.
walking and you're like, yeah, whatever. And then you're like, oh, hold on. Guess what I just fucking saw?
it,
Oh,
it was perfect. It was so good.
I've rewatched that so many times.
I
So
love
many
it.
times.
I love
And I love her, but God, that was good.
Well, you love me more, so it's fine.
Well, I'm
You
like,
don't have to
Sammy,
let her know
shh.
that, but as long as I know, then I can be fulfilled.
Okay. I'm like, um, but
Amazing.
it's so I think that's why it's so successful though, because it's so you. Because if you
Hmm.
guys weren't doing like being authentically yourselves and doing promos that fit the two of you, it would be weird. Like I mean, and I'm sure because you guys are both very talented, you would figure it out and it would find its own way to be successful. But because it's so authentically you, it's just immediately like I have to watch this 16 times in a row
Right.
and I
Yeah,
have to send it to
I
my friend because
appreciate
it's
that.
so funny. Like it's just so good. And even I was looking on your Instagram today and even the post like your Instagram is just so funny. Like it's just so good. And even the post where like you were trying to do a promo and you kept getting interrupted
Yeah,
by
yeah,
like
yeah.
us.
Hold me.
Oh my God. I was laughing so hard because your reactions were just like, okay. And like even when you were really in it and then they just go like, oh, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh,
He's like,
like, oh God.
motherfucker. Come on.
It
Sorry.
was so, oh no, no, you can save space.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. We
Um,
are
we get
potty
gross on
Bleep,
mouths.
here.
bleep,
Yeah.
bleep, bleep,
Yeah.
bleep.
Um, yeah, I mean, it's just so good.
Thank you.
And I love her bad in a bad way. So I love to see the
Listen,
both of you
she's
together.
an amazing wrestler. She's doing her thing, but like I'm never gonna put someone before myself. So
Period.
she has what I want. And part of like our thing is like I enjoy wrestling her and I enjoy embarrassing her. So I'm guaranteed a rematch with her. I'm guaranteed a title match with her. And because I've won all these different stipulations previously, I get to choose the type of match. So you better believe I won't tell you what match I'm thinking about, but just know that it will be one for the ages. And
Oh, I can't
I
wait.
think both
Oh,
of
we're
them
gonna have
shot.
to roll up for that one.
We
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
be there for
please.
that one.
I'll let you know. It'll be sometime this year, maybe later this year. But
Thank God.
we're gonna try to steal the show is always our intention.
And I'm sure that you will. And I think you would look so fabulous in gold in a beautiful gold
Especially
belt.
Sammy's gold. I mean, come on.
It's
He goes
no
even better. Thank
knowing she
you.
touched it.
Yeah.
Oh
Maybe
my
I'll
Knowing it was
God.
once hers and is now mine is
yeah,
really
I'll have
the
to
That
climb
is
back
gratification.
a
so
little
also
bit,
that's
but
very you coded, Xavier. That is
That is
very you
you
maybe
coded.
are
maybe I'll steal her
100%
man
correct.
after. Who knows?
Shoot, make it a whole
Listen,
agenda.
girl, I'll steal
That's what
her
they mean when they
first.
say the gay agenda. That's it.
No, I'm not
Exactly.
kidding. I'm not kidding. Girls, please steal me. If you're scared of straight men, girl, me too.
If
Girl, it's gonna be the clip. You better be careful. I'm gonna put you
I'm
out
true to
there.
this. I'm not new to this. I'm true to this.
we're gonna have to turn the camera around and ask you a few questions.
Oh,
Oh my
yeah, we put
God.
her on a dating show. I swear to God.
Please do not. Oh my God, fear in my body.
No.
But I also because you like us, thank God, are in your 30s.
Yep.
And we were like, yes. And
No,
like
actually,
no
sometimes it's
shade,
tough to relate.
no shade to the youngins, love you very dearly, but sometimes the folks got to get together and chat. But I categorize myself very lovingly as like a late bloomer. I'm like, it took me a while to get to like the place where I felt like comfortable enough to like be who I was or whatever. Or like I'm still getting there and being in my 30s and like tapping into like what we do here or like just even things in my own personal life. I feel like you have this like different kind of wisdom. And I know that sounds really like old head of me, but it's like and because like you started your wrestling journey like a little bit later and you have that kind of like confidence just built, not like built in because it was obviously earned, but like this like I'm a little bit older. I know for certain this is something I would feel unfulfilled if I didn't try. Like, do you feel like being like just having that kind of, I don't want to say wisdom because again it kind of feels like too on the
Just
nose
life
or whatever.
experience. Just,
Yeah, like experience, like just
clocked a couple more
living.
years.
Yeah, like do you think that that gave you like a little bit of a boost or an edge, or it like hindered you? Like how do you feel like that affected like your entrance into wrestling and how it works with you now?
Great question. It's a really good question. I mean, I think it helped me in terms of my enjoyment of it more than anything else. Obviously,
Mm,
like for me, this is a very fun hobby that I take very seriously and just want to do good in. But I don't personally have aspirations to like be in WWE or AEW or anything like that. And
mhm.
honestly, if they ever called, I'd probably be like, no. I mean, if it was like a one-off, like, WrestleMania, I'd be like, yeah, absolutely. But like, I have a career, I have my life. This to me, and I want to normalize that, right? Like there's folks like Effie and others who is just like, I'm having fun in the indies. I want to make a name in the indies and I want to
Yeah.
be a star there. Like that's kind of my motto. And so I say that because like if I had started earlier in my 20s or not, I may have like maybe wanted to make it a career, right? And it becomes so
Mm,
much more urgent and kind of like personal when you're in that space. And
yeah.
I think sometimes not my fear, but when I see younger wrestlers I train with, sometimes I want to like shake them and just be like, please don't abandon like your outside career or education and not don't put all your eggs in this basket because it's so fickle and you just don't know like where the journey would take you.
Yeah.
And then I'll see people who are in their 30s who started a little bit young or started a lot younger, and I feel like they've kind of stunted in their like ability to take care of themselves, either financially or whatnot. I
Mm,
worry. And so I'm glad for me, I had a career, I had like a really strong foundation that it was just like I could lean into the fun part of it. And I could
yeah.
lean into like it wasn't going to take care of me in other ways. It was very much an outlet to do what I needed to do. Um, but there was also just a wisdom in different things. Like for example, um, when I was younger, especially, I mean, I think for anyone, whether especially for women, but especially, also for gay men, there's like a struggle with our bodies that we have, right? In my
Yeah.
20s, I was very much like, I need to be 140. I need to be skinny. And I was what the gay community would call a twink. I'm clearly not a twink anymore. I ate that kid and now I'm just like a but I know if I started in my 20s, I would have been so much more self-conscious about my body and how I
Mm.
looked and
Mm,
having to kind of be perfect and needing abs and um but honestly in my 30s, I've kind of washed that all away.
yeah.
And I'm like, my friends and I always like, you get what you get, you want it or not. Like, and that's kind
Yeah.
of
If you're
and
buying what I'm
so
selling, that's
exactly. If you
yeah.
if you if you like it, it's for you. I mean, it's
Right.
not for you, but if it's for you, if it's for me. But I don't, everyone always has things with their bodies. I'm not perfect. I'm not always gonna say like I'm gonna have an amazing body every day. But most days, most moments, I'm good. I'm just
Right.
like
Yeah.
I feel like I look good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Whether you see it or not, like I'm confident. And I think if I had started wrestling earlier, because I see them a lot of young wrestlers where there's just like, especially in women, I'm like, these girls are so skinny for the most part, and they're just like, I need to be thinner or I need to do this or that. And I just don't deal with that as much. And that's not because of who I am, it's because of it's because I went through that. I grew from it and I chose not to live in that space anymore. And
Yeah.
coming in my 30s allowed me to do that versus if I were like 25 or 24 trying to wrestle, I would have very much had dealt with those issues in a way that could have been really challenging to like my mental health.
Yeah. I definitely can see that, like understand that. And I think wrestling is, I love it so much because it is so creative. Like I think it can be such a creative, like blossoming, like you can really let your mind go places with it. And like your body also is just involved in like how you can be creative in that way. So it's so funny you say that because I never, not never, but I was thinking of it more as like a mental game, like
Mm.
how to have like the mental fortitude to do wrestling. And I didn't even like consider like, and which is stupid, but how intense like physically like it could be just even on body image. So that's so amazing, such an excellent point.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
so interesting.
I mean, both your original point is also a good one. Just like, it's harder when you're older, right? But
Mhm.
let's see how to Yeah, I mean, it is harder when you're older, but I think the good thing about being 30, and I see a lot of wrestlers, I feel like you're also in your prime,
Right.
you know?
Yeah,
Not just
totally.
only physically, but mentally. And I feel like that mix of it all together kind of creates like the perfect condition to wrestle,
Hmm.
Yeah.
but the timeline shorter, right? Because me starting, when I started versus someone who starts in their early 20s, I sort of see the end of the tunnel a little bit sooner than folks. And for me, I actually find that a little bit helpful because I'm like, what do I want to do? Like, what's
In
meaningful?
this time, like,
Exactly, because I'm
Mm.
not gonna, I don't see myself wrestling for 10 more years, right? But maybe for another, 3 to 4. Um, and it's nice to know that I can do it and I can put a cap on it. And I'm so glad that I did it because for a long time I didn't do it because, the attitude era was like tall men, good looking,
mhm.
all
Yeah.
these things. And I didn't feel like I met most of that criteria. Like I'm only 5'9". I didn't feel like I was the most athletic kid growing up. I'm gay. So I was like, Brian, like, don't even
Right.
be a fan,
Pipe
enjoy it
dream.
because clearly, like, that's not an environment for you. But in my 30s during COVID, it was one of those fuck you moments. It was like, I want to do it. Life is too short and like, let's go for it. And I'm so glad that I did.
I love that.
No, I love that. And I want to segue just kind of, it's kind of like tangential, but it's kind of a more fun side of that. How did we like end up on the gear that we have?
Oh, I love my
And
gear.
yes,
Yeah. Oh,
so yeah,
please,
because
please, please,
that is
please.
clearly something like that
Yes.
you have to be confident to like go out there and do and like rock. So like tell me how we got there, who made it, because we love to
I love to know.
right,
Yeah, I
yeah, we
gotta
love to
find
know.
his. Oh my God, I'm gonna forget his name, but I know I'll find it. I mean, so you gotta flaunt what you have, right?
Right.
I'm Puerto
Period.
Rican. I have a big butt.
Period.
I was like, well, we'll distract from the stomach a little bit by putting some attention on the booty. Which is also for me a beautiful thing because growing up, I was very like self-conscious about my butt because I was like,
Oh,
oh,
I feel you. Yeah,
you get
Mm-hmm.
me. I haven't seen your
Mm-hmm.
backside, but it sounds like you get it.
I get it. Yeah.
So for me, I was like, let me hike it up. The girls hike it up. I don't, why can't I hike?
Period.
So I did. And so that's like kind of like clearly like, it's like it's like my boobs, right? For the girls,
Right.
it's kind of pushing it up. For me, I'm showing you my butt. In a way that's tasteful. So my gear is very intentional and probably I hope this all makes sense. But I wear a jock strap under it that you can see,
Hmm.
and that's a
Mm-hmm.
nod to gay culture because
Yeah.
I'm
Oh yeah.
jock strap. So it was obviously of the moment because of like the Rhea Ripley's, a lot of them will wear things like that, but it
Hmm.
doesn't really translate to the guys. And I was like, I want to do that, and I'm
Right.
gonna make it a jock strap versus like I don't know what they call those, a belt. Um,
Yeah.
and then Keith Haring's my favorite artist.
Heard.
He's an
Mm.
openly gay wrestler. Gay wrestler, oh my God. He was an artist. I think he died of HIV.
Hmm.
But it was very much of like that pop art era. So if you look at, let's see, I have Keith Haring right here. I don't know if you can see it, but you see his
Yeah.
art very like
Oh
color,
yes.
um,
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
pops of colors. And so if you look at my gear, the logo, you can't see it. Take a
There it
zoom.
is.
There you go. It's in Keith Haring font adjacent.
I love
Oh,
that.
My
I
gear is
love
very much
that.
pop art inspired, Keith Haring inspired. Because I didn't want all black, even though that's a black version of my gear. I have pink, yellow,
Right.
all of
Yeah.
that. It just so happens I'm not pansexual. I'm very gay and very proud, but my colors are the pansexual colors. So
Hmm.
people are like, "Are you pan? That's so awesome." And sometimes I feel bad letting them down. Like, I just like the colors. Sorry.
Sorry, sorry,
And
sorry.
listen, I support. Um, and then and then obviously the whip that I come out with is very much a nod to Sable.
The
But
blue
I
whip
want
is
it.
fierce.
I have blue and yellow, but the blue's so much nicer, so that's
The
the one I bring
blue
most of
is
the time.
so
Hmm.
fierce. I was like, I don't know where you got a
She's
blue
like
whip.
immediately going to go
You
like
could find
online and
anything
find one.
online, and you can't. I lost the whip once in a cab, and I was so mad.
Oh,
And then I went back to buy it, and it was sold out everywhere, and I was like, what the fuck? And I had to go to like what is it called? What's that online thing called? Not Etsy, the other one, eBay.
eBay.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I had paid too much money for it because it was the last one. So I cannot lose this whip because you will not see it again if I
That's it.
do. TSA wanted to take it once, and I was like, if you please do not take this whip
I
ever.
didn't even think of that, like
Yeah,
traveling with the whip.
it's a
Oh
weapon
shit.
in some
Oh,
cases. So Yeah.
Oh my. Love that.
I don't use
Love
it
the
in the
visual.
ring. I've used it like 2 or 3 times, but the the fun thing about the whip is like one, I think it creates a moment in the entrance because people don't expect it.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's kind of like, whoa, like wake them up. But in the ring, especially if I can use it, I've only whipped one person with it, and like just to break the fourth wall a little bit, he was like, "We should do this spot, and you should whip me with it." So I would never intentionally like tell someone like they should take it because it actually hurts a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
But he wanted to make a moment, and so he did it. And he regretted it as soon as he did it.
Yeah, I bet. I bet.
After our match, he said, "I'm never doing that again."
Oh my.
It was like a welt, it
You
was bloody, and because he told me, he was like, "Just hit me with it, hit me with it," and I was like, "You sure?" I was like, "You can do it this way, so it doesn't actually like hurt you, or like I." So I think that was the first and last time, but it's a cool spot. If you haven't seen it, let me know. I'll forward it to you. But
please
definitely
send it.
memorable. But you
You
can get a
reap
lot
what
of
you
cool
sow,
things with it.
sir.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh my God. Sorry, I also think I interrupted you on your talking about your gear, but I was just like really excited to talk about the blue whip. I love
No,
that.
you didn't interrupt me at all. It was a natural progression.
And I it's so interesting because I was gonna say this before, but I really feel like you are such a detail-oriented person, which I live for because I
Oh,
really want like everything to mean something. And like I
absolutely.
just love when it does. Like when I'm not making it up. Do you know what I mean? Where I'm not like because I was an English major in school and I always joke with people
Nice.
that it's just a degree that teaches you how to overthink because it's just like finding meaning like in every so I'm always like
Mhm.
do you think it's pink because of what like so I just love when people are also that way where it's like I just want everything about like my life to be intentional including the things that I wear so I'm love that so deeply love
Yeah.
that
Oh, absolutely. And I'm a very detail-oriented person. The one thing that I forgot to say is the makeup that I use.
yes
So someone asked me recently, they were like, "Why do you use makeup?" And I like to give honest answers, shocker. And I said, I think it was because a little bit was like because of being self-conscious, right? I was like, I'm not a model. I was like, but I wanted something to stand out.
mm,
And so the makeup was part of that. Originally, I used Bull Nakano's makeup, right? Which
Hmm.
I'm a
okay
huge Bull Nakano fan. But then I was like, so many people use it as a tribute. It doesn't feel authentic enough. And I was just like, to your point, it's like I wanted to find meaning in the makeup, even though I did it for like just an aesthetic reason that was the meaning. I just wanted something to pop. I
yeah
eventually ended up finding Taino paint face or face
Love
paint.
that.
And so what I usually use is some version because usually it's a line across your face with the little things, and
Hmm.
then makeup is similar. So it's a nod to like my Boricua Puerto Rican people. And if I have a match, it's really important to me. I make sure to do the full thing because it takes some time.
yeah
But I was happy to like settle on that because like I said, it felt like okay, this brings everything together. I have like my pop art, my gay influence, my Sable influence, but I wasn't gonna like come out with the Puerto Rican flag. It just didn't
Right.
feel like me. But
yeah
the Taino face paint was just like, oh, this
That's
is
awesome. I had no idea. I'm
I
gonna have to
love
like show my grandma. She'll eat that up.
oh, I love it. Yeah. Well, my mom's the queen of Puerto Rico, so she was very happy when I
period
did
I love that because I was going to ask you about your makeup, so I'm so happy you brought it up because obviously I love makeup. But yeah, that like that line, it's just so incredible. Like it's so beautiful too. And I think it is like it's so interesting and it does feel like it fits you, even though it's not like you're doing like full like Boricua, like, it's just but it just fits perfectly. Wow, I love that so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do you like doing the line? Do you find it more difficult? Is it smudgy? I'm always curious about like the makeup
Oh, I
too.
found it was like so when I first started doing it, I'm not a make like I'm a bad gay. I always joke with people because I don't know how to do makeup. I'm like not good at it.
Me, I have no
Right?
idea.
You get it. Sometimes they think like if you're a gay man like or a woman, they're like, you
We
know how
were
to do
I
makeup.
missed the email. I don't
we
know.
were just talking about this
Class.
before you got on. We were just talking about this because I was like when I and not to interrupt you, but when
No, no,
I
please.
was growing up and Xavier and I have been friends for a long time,
Mhm.
I would be like, "Oh yeah, this is my friend Xavier." And people, the first allegation I would have to beat off is people be like, "Men and women can't be friends."
Hmm.
And I'd be like, "Okay, but we're children. But also then I'd be like, oh no, well, we have the same sexual interests, so it's not a problem. And then people would be like, oh my God, like
The
I
change
wish I
up.
had a gay best friend. And I'm
I was
like,
like, I'm not an
I
accessory. What is
no,
this?
and like just
You're
like
not a
he was
purse.
suddenly gonna know how to accessorize me and like do my makeup and stuff and paint my nails. And I was like, that is not what
I
happened.
was the gross kid watching wrestling. I was not like, I was
Yeah, like I
not
was
doing
like,
any of this.
I don't know who that is, but I was like, but
Ooh.
this is Xavier. I was like, and not that, and I said, I was like, and not that you haven't given me incredible fashion advice, but that's just because you have taste. It has nothing to do with you
Yeah,
being a
no,
gay
no,
man.
no. That
But I
didn't
was
come
like,
equipped.
but yeah, he always jokes because like we'll be out and like Lady Gaga will come on and be like, I don't know, like bad gay, bad.
I
I
don't
don't
know the
know.
words. I don't know. I should know the words. I don't
Oh,
know.
I'm right there with you, Xavier. I think we had a similar upbringing. Yeah,
No,
Kinder
people are
it
just
sounds
like,
like it.
you're gay, you must know A, B, and C. And I'm just like, oh, I mean, you do not want me to style you. You'll look also like my type of gay man. Like I'd make you look like a whore, because I'm
Mhm.
just like
Is that not what you
Prostitution whore.
wanted? Like,
And I used to dress my sisters just out of curiosity because I always want, I don't actually want breasts, but as a little gay, I was like, I wouldn't mind a little breastplate. It's fun.
mhm.
That's
I
what
would
I'm
always
saying.
put their boobies up here, and they were like, Brian, I look like I can't go out like this. And I was
And
like,
be
but
like,
it's cute. It's like,
Right,
so
yeah,
if you're going out for the night and maybe you're going to a poll, I'm happy to dress you. I have some good ideas, but
right.
if you're
Other than
trying to look
that,
fashionable and not maybe present in that way, I'm definitely not your guy.
yeah, period. But so you figured out the makeup somehow. Sorry to come back from
Yeah,
our
yeah. So
digression.
long story short, like at first I didn't figure it out. So it would smudge and I was like, I don't know what the fuck to use. And then I randomly found this lipstick. I think it's by Maybelline and it's
I love Maybelline.
yeah, it's really good. It's like a no smudge matte.
Is it this
That
like it's a square kind of tube looking
Yeah,
thing?
and it's what I'm talking about? That
I
shit does
do.
not go off.
Never.
I will literally rub the whole match sweat and the face paint will be literally almost exactly. So it's a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because I found something that stays.
Yes.
But I had just as much as I found something that stays, it took me a while to find a product that takes it off. You'd have to
mm,
use it's this
Like
like
an oil cleanser.
yeah, it's like it almost looks like Vaseline. I forget what it's called. But at first, when I
Yes.
first did, I didn't realize. So I was scrubbing my face, blah blah blah,
Oh no.
and it like got allergic. It puffed up because I
mhm.
was
Yep.
like literally like breaking it apart trying to take the makeup off.
You're
But
like, I gotta go to like a 9 to 5 on Monday.
right, just
So
Yeah, like hello.
amazing.
Yeah, okay, Maybelline Fierce. Thank girls, get into Maybelline. Y'all are going to Ulta, go to CVS. There that lipstick, and I'm gonna just say too, that concealer. That's the
is it
concealer I
good?
use. Girlies, get into this. Go to Maybelline, get you your 9.99 concealer from CVS or Dwayne Reed
Do
and
it.
get your life.
They need to
Because
sponsor this video. Where are
Yeah,
they?
Maybelline,
honestly.
hello.
Let's get our
Maybe
products
she's
out
born
since
with
they're
it.
sponsoring.
Can you see
Maybe she's born
that?
with it. I was gonna say this is so funny too, and now I'm like really just like me. But it took me like literally until maybe 6 months ago to figure out like the best way to take off makeup, and it was Xavier's brother who actually gave me the recommendation, which is so
I
funny.
believe that. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
no one
and it's
knows
like
skincare like that man's.
I'm not kidding,
No.
and it's like
What did he recommend
Dermalogica.
to you?
Dermalogica, their oil cleanser. And I will say it is expensive, but it lasts forever. And you need like one pump and it takes all that off. And then I have like those makeup eraser, like reusable, washable
Okay.
pad things.
I
But
gotta try. I'm gonna try that.
yeah, and I also have to send you stuff because my day job is I work for my family's business making handmade skincare. So
Oh, that's so cool.
I'm gonna have to send you
Please.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah, I'd
But
love to.
yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, for sure. Wow, Maybelline. Love to know that. Love to know about Miss May, Miss Maybelline.
Yes.
You're
Thank God.
insane.
I have another
And
lipstick I
then
show you, but no.
what were you gonna say? I'm
I said
sorry.
I wish I was like looking around to see if I had the lipstick, but I don't. I think it's in my bag. But I have
Oh
like a
yeah,
whole pack of them.
listen, I'm gonna see you again, whether it's against your will or
Please
not.
come to a show and we can chat after and hang out. It'll be fun.
I would love that. And then I think I just have one final question, and we don't want to abuse too much of your
Oh,
time because
let's
I
do
know
it. I mean,
we've
it's
been
like talking to friends, so I don't mind.
oh yeah, I'm so glad. And Xavier, I didn't know if you had any other questions either.
Oh no, you're good. I'm good.
Actually, maybe I might have two, actually. I'm not gonna lie.
Go for it.
So my first question before we wrap up is you have traveled a lot of different places to wrestle. And I think your first like we'll call it the Sable match, was in I think San Fran or San Diego, one
San
of the
Francisco,
Sands,
yeah,
San
yeah.
Francisco. And I feel like because you've previously said you wanted to wrestle in the Chicago wrestling scene.
Yes, I would.
Um, is that still a goal of yours? Or are there any other places you want to travel to wrestle?
I think, I mean, if I could choose one place to travel to, it would be Puerto Rico.
Mm.
That to me would
Mm,
be really meaningful to have a match there.
yeah.
I don't know what the pathway is to get there, but I think of all the places in the world, just because of, it's my, not my personal homeland. I was born in New York, but it's my family culture, it's my origin. It would
Yeah, the
just be really
roots.
meaningful to me to wrestle there. So I definitely say Puerto Rico.
I love that. And I Puerto Rico too, just even like the wrestling community in Puerto Rico too, I think is so
Oh,
fierce.
they eat it up over there.
Live.
I hope so.
Um,
I would be a little nervous being like, how I present to see like if people would be down with it or what, but I would be more excited than anything. But there's always that nervousness when you're in new
Hmm.
places. And, I love my
totally.
people, but you also know how
I also know machismo is real. So
exactly,
yeah,
Yep,
so
yep, yep.
some people are supportive and then there's, others but that's any culture, right? I never
right,
want to make it seem like that's just a Puerto Rican thing that exists anywhere.
right.
But that would be the one thing I'd be nervous about. But generally the culture and just like feeling I'm in like my bloodland and like where my parents are from and where my ancestors are from, that would be really special.
Yeah.
I love that. And then my other question is because I know you said you're a fan of female wrestling and that's like really how you got into it. I know you're a collector of female wrestling figures,
She's
period.
Kiana James.
Love
Love
that.
that. So, what one, who is like your favorite female wrestler of all time? And then two, sorry. And then oh, you almost had me. And then two, who is your favorite female wrestler, like specifically today, like in this modern era?
All time. Okay, that is such a hard question because
I
I
know.
I feel an affinity towards Sable, but she wasn't exactly the best wrestler, but I really enjoyed her for what she did. I would
Yes.
say female wrestler of all time would probably be Melina,
Heard.
just because I
Mm,
feel like she was in an era, the Divas era, where like there was a lot of restrictions placed on women. And I felt like regardless of the restrictions, she made it work. Like
Hmm.
she was a real powerhouse. She was very creative. I just feel like she really stood out and she kind of like what I find try to do in myself. I felt like she did really well in herself, where she was very feminine and flamboyant, but like that bitch would beat your ass,
Right.
and it looked like she was really out to. Because sometimes back in the day with the Divas era, there was women who didn't want to be wrestlers, were trying their best, but were poorly trained, and it just looked bad.
Right.
mm,
Melina looked like you're like,
Yeah.
damn, like she's really
Mhm.
killing this girl. So
And
wow.
I would say her, and
she
she
was
was just
somebody who
super
was in like
creative.
multiple segments like a night because she was
Yep,
also like a manager. Just because I
yep,
know
yep.
Kelsey does not know this. Kelsey like she
I'm
Oh,
just
you're
also
like,
not.
was.
Kelsey's like Melina. Who is that?
I'm like,
So
girl,
she also
I
used
went
to
to high school
manage
with her.
like a tag team called
Eminem.
M&M, and they were essentially like these like California like washboard abs, like long greasy hair kind of deal. And she was just kind
Mm.
of like the spice like to them. She was like
Ooh,
yeah. So she was also like in like managing segments, in addition to like her being like an active competitor in the women's division. So just
love
some
that.
background
Again, women
for
having to
Melina.
do everything.
I'm gonna send you a Melina match so you can watch it. She
Please.
trying to see which one. I don't know, Xavier, what you think, but I feel like Melina and Beth Phoenix for Rumble was really good.
That yeah,
Her and the match they had, it was a submission match, I think.
I think so.
Yeah,
I
that was
like anything where she's facing somebody bigger. I think she does like well against.
Yeah,
Like I
I'll
think
have to
she
look at one. Or her and Michelle McCool. Actually, that would be a good match because there was a match Melina and Michelle McCool had at Night of Champions, and it's often referred to in interviews as the match they got in trouble for.
mm,
It was it
Ooh.
was it was too good that I don't know if it's Vince McMahon or whatnot. When they got backstage, they got yelled at for being too like better than the guys.
mm.
And then all the women
Girl.
after that match got told to like tone it down and stick to slaps and things like that.
Yeah.
I'll send you
Ew.
that one.
Yeah, send it. Listen, you're furthering
Helping
my
the education.
education. Yeah, in the
Exactly.
new to wrestling world. It's like Xavier's my main sensei, and then I go to other little like places
Along
where
the
other
way.
people give me little gifts of information. So
I'll
this is
send you some
exciting.
stuff for sure. I'll send you some.
Please. Oh my God, I would love that. That's great. I'm so excited.
Current wrestler currently, sorry, because I didn't answer that.
Oh yeah, 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 please.
Oh, it's hard, it's hard, it's hard. I would say, I mean, I loved Naomi and I still do. I
Hmm.
wouldn't know
Hmm.
if I call her my favorite, but I really do have an affinity towards her.
I
I
love
would
her.
say Becky Lynch because
Heard.
I feel like
Mm.
Becky has the ability, she knows how to keep reinventing herself and she knows how to tell a story, right?
Hmm.
Even if she may not be the most flashy wrestler or any of that, I have never seen a female wrestler like her who continues to stay relevant like
Hmm.
throughout the years. And I feel like as a wrestler, there's so much to learn from her in terms of how she does storylines and how she gets people into her matches and gets people into her feuds. So since you're holding a gun to my head, I'd say Becky Lynch.
Wow.
It's a good one because even just the most recent one where with the like intercontinental like champion, like she made like yeah, obviously like Lyra has her own like attributes, whatever, but like it really was like
She
that
elevated it.
she elevated that the title and her competitor at the same time. Like it's hard to like it's hard, I guess, to describe how difficult that is to like elevate somebody while they lose. But she somehow like is just so good at what she does, and she's also very much like admitted a lot of like that she's not the most technically sound wrestler, so she's learned to kind of rely on the personality and storytelling
Yeah,
aspect of it. So I guess it tracks like why that relates so well to you.
she's good. I mean, I think she doesn't give herself enough credit because if you her last match at SummerSlam I didn't love, but all the like non
Mm-hmm.
all the non-gimmick matches have
Yeah.
been really
Mm.
fantastic wrestling matches. The
Mm-hmm.
reversals, the story, like she's just a watch her matches, Kelsey, if you get a chance. Her storytelling of like how she previews spots and how she lets you know like sort of what she's focusing on or like what the story means in terms of like maybe she's trying to like humble a new girl.
Mm.
She just does it like none other, like
Mm-hmm.
because you'll see the crowd just how into it they are by the end because she has told that story so well. So definitely her.
I
But
love that.
before we end, I would love you guys have to answer the question as well because now I'm pointing the gun to your head. Who would be your if you had to choose someone from what you're currently watching and
Mm.
someone now who would be your favorite? Who are your favorites? And it has to be women. We don't care about the
I
men.
period. Okay, I can tell you who my favorite female wrestler is right now,
Yep.
and that is Toni Storm.
Oh,
Mm. I was
yes.
gonna say,
I
yeah, she's right now who
love
I've been eating with
her. I'm
recently.
eating her up right now. I think her character
So
is so
good.
interesting. And we were talking about this with, I think the Invasion Angle podcast boys came on here. And I was saying what I love about her so much is, first of all, she's just a fantastic wrestler and an
Right.
incredible storyteller. But I love that her character has not pigeonholed her. Like it's so specific, but she
Mhm.
has so much movement in the way she uses it. And I just find that so incredible because I feel like other people can like, and this is no shade, but like they'll take a gimmick and they ride it like till it is girl, give it up
The
delicious. Like
horse
it's
is
just
glue. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, the horse is glue and it's reborn and we made it glue again. Like we need like something fresh. Like we need something fresh other than this Elmer's. And I just like I think it's I think she just can constantly find like new perspective in her character while also being such an incredible wrestler, making other women look incredible when she wrestles them. Like I just think of all the women wrestling, I'm just like very
Mm.
into her whole thing right now. So she's my favorite female wrestler right now.
Yep. Great
And
answer.
then the only thing is like I kind of have a handicap because where we're watching right now, like
There
female
is like
wrestling is not a
no
thing.
female wrestlers
So
current.
like my default is I'm gonna say Sable just because like she's just getting in, she's starting to throw
Mm.
hands. Like I'm very into that. Like and I'm kind of I Sunny had some really cute outfits and whatever, but I'm over Miss Girl. I'm so sorry. Like I'm ready for the new meets. But the only other woman we really have is Luna who just got there. Oh, I'm sorry, I lied. It's China. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know what just happened.
I was
I
waiting. I was
don't
like, okay.
Girl, I don't know what just happened, but the eighth wonder of the world, Miss China, I love her in a way that is sick because
He's fantastic.
she is such a bad bitch. She is so like fucking incredible and strong and whatever, and does not sacrifice an ounce of femininity. And that's why
Mhm.
I really fuck with her because she has her outfits, she has that purple eyeshadow, she has her hair laid to fucking God, and she comes out there with her acrylic nails and she beats the boys up.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
thank you. And thank you for your service. I'm so here for her that I'm in love with her in a bad, bad way.
Oh, I love that.
I
I'm gonna
love China.
Oh, amen. I'm gonna flash forward a couple years just because it's
You
1998,
can,
so those are the
cheater.
options. Yeah. I'm gonna say Lita, but not like
Alita.
I enjoyed Lita like during. I'm a big Hardy Boys fan, always have been, but like I enjoyed her during that time. But what really like kind of sold Lita for me as like the whole was like after she came back from her like broken neck, and then that when she did that whole storyline with Edge,
Mm.
and she like really leaned into being like they were like if you're gonna hate me anyway, like I'm gonna
Yep,
use
hate
it.
me. Yep.
and
Hot.
and the way that she then was able to kind of like on her way out, she was just like, okay, well, like I know I'm following kind of like Trish out the door, like I'm gonna just have as many of these like ridiculously classic matches as I can on the way out. And I
Yep.
thought it was great. So I loved
Love.
Lita. And then probably today also, just to give a different answer than Tony Storm, although I do love her. Probably
That's why I had to
Eos.
answer first because I knew it.
I was gonna I'll say EO Sky probably. I think
Yeah.
her
Mm.
ability to
Period.
kind of what first of all, the matches she puts on are insane.
Hmm.
Um
That
just from
girl's an
like
athlete.
yeah,
Girl.
just from like a technical like aspect, but also if you've seen her matches with like Penta, like those are also insane. Like she can take a beating. But also the way that she doesn't like I feel like it's so easily, and especially the way that like just generally foreign wrestlers are presented in the WWE, there's always like a language handicap. And I
Yes.
feel like she
Yes.
has does such a great job relating to like the audience that doesn't it doesn't factor in the way that like it has previously been presented in WWE. And I also think generally they're trying to like get better at the way that like people are presented, being that wrestling fans are every shade.
Yep. Yep.
But
Oop.
hey, listen, they had a long road to get there. But
No,
uh
literally
but I just love the
crazy.
way that like she kind of like transcends like the language is wrestling. It's not
Yep. Yep.
whatever she's trying to like literally say.
The language. Okay,
New
poet.
new podcast name. The language is
The
wrestling.
language is
It's giving
wrestling.
wrestling. I like.
It's
Could I
giving
say
rest.
one thing real quick? Because
Yeah.
this is like where anyway, the Lita thing, right? I love Lita. Like
Mm-hmm.
Lita is like she's the reason I stayed watching wrestling after Sable left. And I feel
Mm.
like, God, I would get so mad because Trish was a great wrestler, is a great wrestler, deserves her flowers. But she had such that like star send off, and then Lita had such a disrespectful
Mm-hmm.
send off. And I remember being such a Lita fan and just being like, how could they do that to her? Which is
Whoa.
why when she did that match with Becky Lynch at
So good.
I felt like it was such a redemption for her and such
Mm-hmm.
a like a I wish you should watch that match too, Kelsey.
I know I just got like
Um,
a chill. I clearly have to tap into
that
whatever that
match,
is.
she got a standing ovation after, and it felt like, and she said this herself, it felt like just kind of an apology, a healing, an undoing all the harms of what her actual send-off was.
Oh
Right.
Because she
wow.
deserved that standing applause. Because Lita like changed the game, right? Don't get me wrong, Trish was amazing, but like Trish was the prototype, right? She was
Right.
stable 5.0 because she could wrestle and she wanted to wrestle,
But
but
she
she had
also
blonde
needed the
hair.
counterpoint. Like she needed
Exactly.
Lita to kind of
She needed a foil. Xavier says
Yep.
that all the time.
yeah.
Yep. And Lita got over for all the things that women weren't supposed to get over, right? She was a
Right.
tomboy. She wanted to wrestle. She didn't have skimpy outfits, which is nothing wrong with that, right? But like she showed that you could be a female fan and be a wrestler. And so for her, it's just like I stand her. And the EO Sky thing, the only point I'll make, like what I want to say about that, just in our political moment, I won't get political, but it's so I feel like sometimes I want to study wrestling because you see these black wrestlers, these Asian wrestlers, and they're getting over with these very diverse crowds, and they'll wrestle in like a Tennessee, and they're just like super over.
Hmm.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
what is that magic sauce? That diversity and all these beautiful things seem to be celebrated and engaged with in
Mm.
these towns and sort of more conservative towns, and then yet we're we are where we are right now. I don't want to get too deep in that because I know it's not what this podcast is for, but I feel like when I
Yeah.
see like EO and other wrestlers get those reactions, I'm like, I wish that was what we could be
Right.
outside of the ring as well.
Just
Right.
like interject more of that in the
Yes.
real world. Yeah.
I unfortunately feel like it's the carny effect, where it's like when the carnival comes to town, they love to see the freaks.
Yeah.
And then
No.
when the
Yeah.
carnival's not in town, do not put that freak near me.
Yep. Yep.
It's weird.
No.
It's such a weird phenomenon, but
I think you're right
yeah,
though.
yeah, it's but I completely get it because it's like this person is idolized, like loved, like beloved, and like
Yeah.
we can't translate that to like your neighbor
To human
or
rights. Yeah.
yes, so crazy. And there's definitely listen, everything is wrestling.
Everything
Yep.
is
Yep.
wrestling.
Everything is wrestling.
Um,
So
do you have any last minute like sayings? I mean, you can promote yourself if you'd like, but if you wanted to just say anything, final thoughts.
Final thoughts, final thoughts. I would just say, I mean, what's in my heart to say, which is just like treat, I feel like in this timeline of our lives that we're living in, you can't control everything that's happening in the world or in the country, but like you can control how you show up for people. And so just like show up as a good human being, treat other people with respect, regardless of their immigration status, regardless of their sexual identity, none of that. Like as an openly gay wrestler, that's my MO. And like again, you can't control everything, but like be the thing you wish the world had more of. Is as cliche as that sounds, it
Mm.
feels anytime people ask me this question, that feels in my heart to keep repeating that out loud because I feel like that's the resistance that leads to change. So,
Right.
yeah. Wow, I love that.
Thank you.
thank
Thank you
you
so
both. I
much for
really
taking the
enjoyed this.
time.
Of
Thank you
course.
so much.
Have a good one and stay in touch, and I'll send you all of those matches. Well, I'll send you the ones I remember because I think I send you like 100 at this point.
I
Yes.
love that. Hold on, I'll wrap
Yes.
it up and then
Yes,
I'll
gonna do a
send you
little
on your way.
outro.
Yeah, yeah, do you?
All right, guys, this has been another edition of the New to Wrestling podcast. Thank you so much for listening, liking, subscribing, all those fun stuff wherever you find us. For Kelsey and Brian Baum, we'll catch you on the next one.
We'll see you
Bye.
there.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.